The Catholic Church is a community that lives in a real world of diversity and pluralism, division, and the opportunity to reach across divisions in friendship. Our presentation here at the Center for Catholic Experience of Five on the Floor, a musical group made up of Mennonites who sing songs from the evangelical and Pentecostal traditions, is surely a case of reaching across divisions in the Christian church. What a wonderful way to celebrate the Week of Prayer for Christian Unity, which of course is January 24th to the 31st this year. In case you're wondering, it's always dated from the Sunday preceding the feast of the conversion of St. Paul, January the 25th. And Christians are always united around St. Paul, I understand. Now, another thing that Christians are united around is always John Paul II. Not even Catholics are united around John Paul II these days, whom some find very conservative on some fronts, but truly is a great leader on the issue of religious freedom and ecumenism. I mean, no other pontiff has done so much to initiate dialogue with other Christian faith communities, and perhaps one day we'll have Dr. Higgins explain exactly why that is. On January 20th of this year, Dr. Peter Erb, another Mennonite who teaches at Wilfrid Laurier University, talked to a room full of Catholic teachers on the essence of Catholic education. And tonight we have invited Five on the Floor. Together for over 2 years, Five on the Floor consists of, and I will introduce them, they will take their places at the microphone so that we can get right into the music. When Jim Reimer said that he might say a few words about the theology and history of the music, I said, and I think this should be a note for my own speech, less talk, more rock. We have with us Lyle Friesen, a songbird ecologist. Lyle. Ron Harder, a social worker. Bob Jansen, a lawyer. Jim Reimer, a theologian from Conrad Grebel College. And Henry Schmidt, a financial consultant. Divided as they are by their professions and interests and outlook upon life, they are united all as members of Rockaway Mennonite Church in Kitchener. All have had a long time singing experience. Reimer and Schmidt were members of a religious folk group in Manitoba called the Faith and Life Singers in the late 1960s. Harder and Jansen belonged to a Southern Ontario band called Rural Delivery. And since my motto tonight is less talk, more rock, I give you Five on the Floor.
Thank you very much. There was a little, did you notice, Ron, that there was a little bit of laughter when they said rural delivery?
I did notice that, Ron.
Is that the sort of chuckle of recognition, or
No, I think
just a little bit nervousness, maybe? Oh, there's one person there.
maybe it was just mockery, Bob.
Just nervous laughter.
Found way, the gospel highway leading to the home eternal. I'll walk and talk and talk and talk with the Master every day. When the storm seems high, he safely guides me to the blessed home supernal. I'll walk and talk and walk and talk in the New Jerusalem way. I'll walk and talk and talk and talk in the New Jerusalem way. As I press along to the land of everlasting day. When at last the task will done, I shall hear the Master say, walk and talk in the New Jerusalem way. But in my cling I will ever sing and tell of the gospel story. I'll walk and talk with the Master every day. Then forevermore I shall adore him over in the land of glory. I'll walk and talk in the New Jerusalem way. I'll walk and press along to the land of everlasting day. Then at last well done, I shall hear the Master say, walk in the New Jerusalem way. I'll walk and talk in the New Jerusalem way as I press along to the land of everlasting day. At last, well done, I shall hear the Master say, I'll walk and talk in the New Jerusalem way.
We won't say too much about the music probably during the course of the set. Yeah.
They never get tired of that, do they, Bob?
No.
Same old line. It's a good one.
Part of the reason for that is because the words are pretty straightforward.
Everybody wants to go to heaven. Nobody wants to die. Once upon a time there lived a man, and his name was Hezekiah. He walked with God both day and night, but he didn't want to die. He cried, oh Lord, please let me live. Death is close, I know. God smiled down at Hezekiah. He gave him 15 years to go. Everybody wants to go to heaven, but nobody wants to die. Lord, I want to go to heaven, but I don't want to die. Well, I long for the day when I'll have new birth, 'cause I love to live here on earth. Everybody wants to go to heaven, but nobody wants to die. Plan. He knew that he must give his life to save the soul of man. When Judas had betrayed him, Father heard him cry. He was brave until his death, but he didn't want to die. Everybody wants to go to heaven, but nobody wants to die. Lord, I want to go to heaven, but I don't want to die. Well, I long for the day when I'll have new birth, 'cause I love living here on earth. Everybody wants to go to heaven, nobody wants to die. Everybody wants to go to heaven, nobody wants to die. Lord, I want to go to heaven, but I don't want to die. Well, I long for the day when I'll have new birth, 'cause I love living here on earth. Everybody wants to go to heaven, nobody wants to die. Everybody wants to go to heaven. Nobody wants to die.
Thank you very much. This is more of a song from country and western tradition. My hands are getting a bit sweaty.
Bob, before we get into this, one practical question. We can't hear what the balance is up here, but especially for the people in the back, is there anything that should be changed? Can you hear the voices, the instruments?
Everything's good.
I guess that's affirmative, huh?
Okay, this song starts off with humming.
When do we start, Bob?
Spirit like a fire fills a sinful soul like mine. When God dips His love in my heart. Well, I said I wouldn't tell it to a living soul how He brought salvation and He made me whole. But I found I couldn't hide such love as Jesus did impart. Well, you know He made me laugh, He made me cry, set my simple soul on fire. When God dips His love in my heart. When sometimes though the way is dreary, dark and cold, and some unburdened sorrow keeps me from the goal, I go to God in prayer. I can always find Him there to whisper sweet peace to my soul. How He brought salvation and He made me whole. But I found I couldn't hide such love as Jesus did impart. Well, you know He made me laugh, He made me cry, set my simple soul on fire. When God dips His love in my heart. He walked up every step of Calvary's rugged way, and He gave His life completely to bring a better day. My life was stained in sin, but His love took me in. His blood washed away every stain. Well, I said I wouldn't tell it to a living soul how He brought salvation and He made me whole. But I found I couldn't hide such love as Jesus did impart. Well, you know He made me laugh, He made me cry, set my simple soul on fire. When God dips His love in my heart. When God dips His love, His sweet love in my heart.
Thank you.
A lot of water image.
That was
imagery,
called,
right? In
yeah.
this, music.
That was called When God Dips His Pen of Love in My Heart. See, the titles are very much like the words. It's very accessible music that way. Our Savior went one day, and we believe John the Baptist met Him there. When John baptized Jesus in Jordan's swelling water, the mighty power of God filled the air. I'm on my way to the river of Jordan, going to wade right in the rushing water. I'm going there, I'm going down to the river of Jordan, and let the cool water cleanse my soul. King Damon was stricken with dreaded leprosy, and he sent for the man of God to pray. But Elijah said to Naaman, go dip yourself in Jordan, let the cool waters wash your spots away. So he went right down in the river of Jordan, and he went right in the rushing water. He dipped himself in the river of Jordan, and the cool waters made him whole. found myself an altar in an old-fashioned church by river of Jordan that will be. I'm on my way to the river of Jordan, gonna wade right in the rushing water. I'm going down to the river of Jordan, and let the cool waters cleanse my soul. I'm on my way to the river of Jordan, gonna wade right in the rushing water. I'm going down to the river of Jordan, and let the cool waters cleanse my soul.
Are there any theology students here? Or just students of the Bible? You'll have recognized some factual errors there. Where? We've kept the tradition rather than go with accuracy.
It's the development of dogma.
guys
The
laugh
development
along.
of dogma.
The guys laugh along. They make like they don't know what I'm going to say. It's nice. That was called the River of Jordan. I'm not going to give out the names anymore. It's too easy. Okay, I'll start over.
And away by the water so blue, the ladies were winding their way, when Pharaoh's little daughter stepped down to the water to bathe in the cool of the day. And before it was dark, she looked in the ark and found sweet infant was there. And away by the water so blue, she carried that beautiful child to his tender mother, sister and brother. Little Moses looked happy and smiled, and she called him her own, her beautiful son, and sent for a nurse that was near. And away by the sea that was red, so red, little Moses, the servant of God, before it subsided, the seas were divided. With upward he lifted his rod, and the two safely crossed, while Pharaoh's host were drowned in the waters and lost. And away by the mountain so high, last moment he ever did see, with Israel victorious, his hopes were most glorious. Someday Jordan would be free. When his spirit did cease, he departed in peace and rested in the heavens above. Oh, away by the water so blue, the ladies were winding their way, when Pharaoh's little daughter stepped down to the water to bathe in the cool of the day. And before it was dark, she looked in the ark and found sweet infant was there. And before it was dark, she looked in the ark and found sweet infant was there. Sweet chariot, swing low and carry me above the gloomy clouds. Sweet chariot,
Please take me where no evil can enshroud. This sinful land is blessed with trouble. Everywhere I go, I find no place down here to rest my weary soul.
Sweet chariot,
swing away down low, I'm tired and weary as I roll.
Sweet chariot,
carry me beyond this land where sorrows are unknown.
Sweet chariot,
seems there's nothing in this world but trouble and distress. So take me where there is contentment, peace, and rest.
Sweet chariot,
swing low, I'm down in grief and shadows round me fall. Sweet chariot, I'm ready now and waiting for the call. The earthly wealth and treasures here can never satisfy. My soul is longing for that happy home on high.
Sweet chariot,
swing away down low, I'm tired and weary as I roll.
Sweet chariot,
carry me beyond this land where sorrows are unknown.
Sweet chariot,
seems there's nothing in this world but trouble and distress. So take me where there is contentment, peace, and rest. So take me where there is contentment, peace, and rest.
Hey, give us your Dylan voice here, Johnson.
It's the only way I know how to do it. Where the laborers are so hard, and the workers are so tired, and the weary hearts are yearning for the rest. And we find we're getting anxious to be in that happy land where we'll receive such peace and happiness. But wait a little longer, please, Jesus. There's so many still a-wandering out in sin. Just a little longer, please, Jesus. A few more days to get our loved ones in. We may look into the skies, and tears will fill our eyes, for our burdened hearts grow heavy with each day. First a prayer, oh Lord, please come and take your children home. And then we look around us and we say, wait a little longer, please, Jesus. There's so many still a-wandering out in sin. Just a little longer, please, Jesus. A few more days to get our loved ones in. Scattered here and there, and Lord, we love him dear, and maybe we can help him find a way. Then if waiting is the call that he might be lost, that's the only reason why we say, but wait a little longer, please, Jesus. There's so many still wandering out in sin. Just a little longer, please, Jesus. A few more days to get our loved ones in. But wait a little longer, please, Jesus. There's so many still wandering out in sin. Just a little longer, please, Jesus. A few more days to get our loved ones in.
If you girls go to sleep, we're going to have to sing some faster ones.
He's just kidding. We don't know any faster ones.
Well, you're hot tonight, John.
Turns into a maniac in front of a crowd.
We're starting together on this one, right, Johnson? You and me?
Hopefully.
Okay, let's hum first a little bit.
Yeah, good. We need a lot of help on this one because it's a work in progress. It's just like all of us. That's a whole other thing.
We're all in progress.
Each day I'll do a golden deed by helping those who are in need. My life on earth is but a span, and so I'll do the best I can.
Life's evening sun
is
sinking low.
A
few more days,
and
I must go.
And I must go to meet the deeds that I have done, where there will be no setting sun. To be a child of God each day, my light must shine along the way. I'll sing His praise while ages roll, and strive to help some troubled soul.
Life's evening sun
is sinking low.
A few more days,
A few more days,
I must go.
and I must go to meet the deeds that I have done. And I will be where there will be no setting sun. The only life that will endure is one that's kind, and good and pure, and so for God, I'll take my stand. Each day I'll lend a helping hand.
Life's evening sun is sinking low.
A
A few more days,
few more days,
I must go.
and I must go to meet the deeds that I have done, where there will be no setting sun. I'll help someone in time of need, and journey on with rapid speed. I'll help the sick and poor and weak, and words of kindness to them speak.
Life's evening sun
Is sinking
low.
low.
A few more days,
A few more days,
I must go.
and I must go to meet the deeds that I have done, where there will be no setting sun.
Just sit down for a second.
Yeah, we're going to do this. Thanks for setting that up for me, Henry. Thank you. Are you interested in three finger? Which three fingers? It was actually the thumb and the first two fingers. So, so that's the three finger picking. It's not really three fingers, two fingers and a thumb. There's another one of these things about bluegrass. Kind of glosses over a lot of stuff, you know.
we're going to do, we were going to take a bit of an intermission now, but after that inspiring talk, we were afraid that some of you might leave. So we decided to come up, do a couple of songs, and hopefully that will inspire you to stay. And the first number we're going to do is, you notice that in the first set we did an a cappella number. We do a fair bit of that. And that, of course, draws from all kinds of singing traditions. And we're going to do one of those right now. And it's called I'm Willing to Try. Well, I may not be able to
sing like the heavenly angels.
I may not be able to
Preach like Paul.
I may not be able to
Walk on water like Peter. But I'm willing to try.
No, I may not be able to walk
Like him.
I may not be able to talk
Like him.
I may not be able to
Preach like Paul.
I may not be able to walk
Like him.
I may not be able to talk
Like him.
but I'm
Willing to try.
Oh, I may not have the
Obedience of Abraham's sacrifice.
I may not be able to
Stand so tall.
I may not have the
Endurance of Moses in the wilderness. But I'm willing to try.
No, I may not be able to walk
Like him.
I may not be able to talk
Like him.
I may not be able to
Preach like Paul.
I may not be able to walk
Like him.
I may not be able to talk
Like him.
but I'm
Willing to try.
No, I may not be able to walk
Like him.
I may not be able to talk
Like him.
I may not be able to
Preach like Paul.
I may not be able to walk
Like him.
I may not be able to talk
Like him.
but
But I'm willing to try.
Thank you. Did anybody listen to Radio Noon today on CBC? Nobody? I was in my car. The topic was, is it okay to hate your neighbor? Was that the topic today, or is it okay to love your neighbor? It was one or the other. I picked up my phone. I tried to get through, but I couldn't. But if I would have, this would have been my message.
All right.
There are many Christians who will say they're Christians and they'll live like Christians on the Sabbath day. But from Monday morning to the coming Sunday, they will cheat their neighbor all along the way.
If you don't love God,
Then you don't love your neighbor. You may gossip about him and you never have mercy if he gets into trouble, and you don't try to help him.
then you don't love your neighbor,
And you don't love God. In the Holy Bible, in the book of Matthew, in the 18th chapter, read the 21st verse. Jesus plainly tells us that we must have mercy. There's a special warning in the 35th verse.
if you don't love God,
Then you don't love your neighbor. You may gossip about him and you never have mercy if he gets into trouble, and you don't try to help him.
then you don't love your neighbor,
And you don't love God.
there's a God.
There's a God Almighty, and we've got to love him if we want salvation and a home on high. If we say we love him but we don't show mercy, then we don't have religion. We've just told a lie.
If you don't love God,
then you don't love your neighbor. You may gossip about him, and you never have mercy if he gets into trouble. And you don't try to help him,
then you don't love your neighbor,
and you don't love God.
Great. And now a word from our sponsor. We have a 10-minute intermission. There is coffee and juice in the foyer. Please join us in 10 minutes for another set with Five on the Floor. Thank you. I hate to bring an end to that joyful noise. It really is wonderful to hear people conversing and getting together. I have a confession to make. I'm allowed, I'm Catholic. And that is that on stage here we have some of my friends. I thought, well, my name's David Seljak, by the way. I'm the director of the Center for Catholic Experience. I think I should have started the evening that way. And I said, this year I'm going to take advantage and invite some friends up to share their talents with us. And I think it is an appropriate image for the week of prayer for Christian unity. This wonderful evening of friendship. I hear people meeting each other and talking to each other as they went for coffee and juice, which ran out far too quickly, and so I apologize to those of you for that. But it really is a joyful noise. Other things that I forgot to do, and continuing my tradition of incompetence up here, was to remind you that, like all events at the center, we tape this evening's performance. And the tape will be available. There's a sign-up sheet at the back. We offer this tape at cost. It's $6. In a musical performance like this, we have to remind you that the material, of course, is copyrighted. So you may listen to the tape, you may enjoy the tape and share the tape, just don't sell it. The other thing we have at the back, besides the brochure for this year's program, and there are only 2 events left in this year's program after tonight's, and they are special events. On March the 5th, we have Father William Ryan, a Jesuit, a former provincial of the order in Canada, who has twice been awarded the papal medal Pro Ecclesia et Pontifice. He also served as the General Secretary of the Canadian Conference of Catholic Bishops. He has a Harvard PhD in economics. He wrote an important book on Quebec history. When I did my PhD, I had to read this book, and I got to know Father Ryan very well. And he is doing some very important work on religion and development. When you think of economics and development, spirituality isn't the first word that comes to mind, except when you're talking to Father Ryan. So I invite you to that talk. It should be an excellent one. The other one is the Catholic School Board lecture, and we have Monica Helwig, a very well-known Canadian theologian, Catholic theologian, not Canadian, American, now president of the Association of all the Catholic Colleges and Universities in the United States. I should say the executive director of that organization. Written books that I have used in my courses on the Introduction to the Roman Catholic Tradition, that I've used in my research, a wonderful speaker, and I invite you to that event. Okay, the last thing I had to mention was that Five on the Floor is hoping to produce a CD recording of their music, and if you wish to be informed about the release of that CD, I have arranged a sign-up sheet at the back with Carol Person, the Secretary of the Center. And so if you put your name and address on that, you will be informed when that CD is made. So I think we've heard enough talk. And now if our friends will join us again on stage, I hope you will help me to welcome Five on the Floor.
Just a comment about copywriting. Nobody really knows who wrote most of this material, so copywriting is kind of a non-issue, really.
That's completely untrue.
Says the lawyer.
Ron and I have known each other for
Too long. They finish each other's sentences.
I found a sweet heaven of sunshine at last, with Jesus abiding above. His dear arms around me are lovingly cast, and sweetly he tells his love. The danger of tempest forever is o'er, my angels hold him and save evermore. What gladness, what rapture is mine! The waters are peaceful, the tempest is past. My spirit is happy, I'm anchored at last. I'm anchored in love divine. He saw me in danger and lovingly came to pilot my storm-beaten soul. Sweet peace he has spoken and blessed his dear name. The billows no longer roll. The danger of tempest forever is o'er. My angels hold and save evermore. What gladness, what rapture is mine! The waters are peaceful, the tempest is past. My spirit is happy, I'm anchored at last. I'm anchored in love divine. His love shall control me through life until death. Completely I'll trust to the end. I'll praise him each hour in my last fleeting breath. Shall sing of my soul's best friend. The terror of tempest forever is o'er. My anchor is holding unsafe evermore. What gladness, what rapture is mine! The waters are peaceful, the tempest is past. My spirit is happy, I'm anchored at last. I'm anchored in love divine. The danger of tempest forever is o'er. My anchor is holding, I'm safe evermore. What gladness, what rapture is mine! The waters are peaceful, the tempest is past. My spirit is happy, I'm anchored at last. I'm anchored in love divine. Yeah, you missed a good opportunity there. I was so engrossed in the song that I forgot to do my solo.
You want to do it now?
Guitar solo. It's all right. Oh, it's tough. It's tough when you miss a guitar solo. Are there a lot of guitar players here?
Well, this song is called Only Remembered, so
Oh,
we
yeah.
can remember it.
All right. Yeah.
You're just giving me
I thought I was singing this. You were singing this? Since when are you singing that? All right.
Fading away like the stars in the morning, losing their light in the glorious sun. Thus would we pass from this earth and its toiling, only remembered for what we have done. Only remembered, only remembered, only remembered for what we have done.
Thus would we pass from this earth and its toiling, only remembered for what we have done. Only the truth that in life we have spoken, only the seed that in life we have sown, these will pass onward when we are forgotten, only remembered for what we have done. Only remembered, only remembered, only remembered for what we have done. These will pass onward when we are forgotten, only remembered for what we have done. Who'll sing the anthem and who'll tell the story? Will the line hold? Will it scatter and run? Shall we at last be united in glory? Only remember for what we have done. Only remember, only remember, only remember for what we have done. Shall we at last be united in glory? Only remember for what we have done. Only remember for what we have done.
This is a song from the singing of Bill Monroe. He wrote it, too.
Down life's highway,
All alone after
I always put my trust in God.
You'll find out
That your silver and gold
won't pay the
price to protect your soul.
Oh, I want the
Lord
to protect my soul,
to protect my soul,
to lead me on,
to lead me on
to heaven's door.
to heaven's door.
My life down here
will soon be
over, and I want the
Lord to protect my soul.
There's many a church down life's highway, where people sing,
rejoice and pray.
Why don't you stop at one and join the fold, and ask the
Lord to protect your soul.
Oh, I want the Lord to protect my soul, to lead me on to heaven door. My life down here will soon be over, and I want the
Lord to protect my soul.
I just love that high tenor. Practice a bit, do you?
No, we don't. No, we don't, actually. I sing it there. You and I sing it there, and we all sing it there.
Okay. Actually,
Yeah.
I do it there.
Okay.
Jim and I do it there. We all
Yep.
do it there. Right.
Okay.
I once was lost in sin, but Jesus took me in. And then a little light from heaven filled my soul. It bathed my heart in love and wrote my name above. Just a little talk with Jesus made me whole. Now let us have a little talk with Jesus. Let us tell him all about our troubles. He will hear our plainest cry. He will answer by and by. Now when you feel a little prayer wheel turning, know a little fire is burning, you will find a little talk with Jesus makes it right. Sometimes it's passing clear without a ray of cheer, and then a little cloud may hide the light of day. A mist may sudden rise and hide the starry skies. Just a little talk with Jesus clears the way. Now let us have a little talk with Jesus. Let us tell him all about our troubles. He will hear our plainest cry. He will answer by and by. Now when you feel a little prayer wheel turning, you know a little fire is burning, you will find a little talk with Jesus makes it right. I may have doubts and fears, my eyes be filled with tears, but Jesus is a friend who watches day and night. I go to him in prayer, he knows my every care, and just a little talk with Jesus makes it right. Now let us have a little talk with Jesus. Let us tell him all about our troubles. He will hear our plainest cry. He will answer by and by. Now when you feel a little prayer wheel turning, and you know a little fire is burning, you will find a little talk with Jesus makes it right. You will find a little talk with Jesus makes it right.
Well, Jim, okay. Well, we're just going to keep on going here, I guess.
We're here till midnight, are you?
Hey, it is really great, though. I was saying to someone chatting during coffee, I know all this stuff about where 2 or 3 are gathered. That's all fine and good, but you know, when it's 200 or 300, it's even nicer.
Oh.
Thanks for coming. Now what?
There's lots of discussion. We do these songs a lot of different ways, so sometimes we forget what we were going to do, and so we just have to kind of...
We're also getting old.
Getting old. We are old.
We wear ID badges.
It used to be that... Oh, Jim's in a hurry.
I heard one guy recently after our concert, one older guy, said, geez, those young fellers are pretty good.
He was blind.
I'm busy every day as I travel on my way to a city far beyond the sky.
And there's not a doubt the time is running out, and the Lord's time will come and draw nigh. For I need a little time to gather in the grain before I leave this world behind. I'm ready anytime when He calls me, Lord. Give me just a little more time. Give me just a little more time. Give me just a little more time. So many precious souls are lost in sin. So many may be left behind. I've got a lot of things that I need to do before I leave this earthly climb. I'm ready anytime when He calls me, Lord. Give me just a little more time. I need a little time to lay before my Lord before the final judgment day. I need a little time to preach the holy word to the sinner man along life's way. Every moment that I have to tarry here below, I'll try to make my lamp to shine. I'm ready anytime when He calls me, Lord. Give me just a little more time. Give me just a little more time. Give me just a little more time. So many precious souls are lost in sin. So many may be left behind. I've got a lot of things that I need to do before I leave this earthly climb. I'm ready anytime when He calls me, Lord. Give me just a little more time.
I'd like to dedicate this song to my wife Margaret there.
Whoa. He's going to pay for that.
It better be good, Schmidt.
Some glad morning when this life is o'er, I'll fly away to a home on God's celestial shore. I'll fly away. I'll fly away, oh glory. I'll fly away in the morning when I die. Hallelujah, by and by. I'll fly away. When the shadows of this life is gone, I'll fly away. Like a bird from prison bars has flown, I'll fly away. I'll fly away, oh glory. I'll fly away in the morning when I die. Hallelujah, by and by. I'll fly away. Just a few more weary days and then I'll fly away to a land where joys will never end. I'll fly away. I'll fly away, oh glory. I'll fly away in the morning when I die. Hallelujah, by and by. I'll fly away.
Sing the chorus again.
I'll fly away, oh glory.
That's the way we rehearsed it.
I'll fly away when I die. Hallelujah, by and by. I'll fly away.
When we start to lose it, we can always count on Lyle to kind of bring it back. Thanks a lot, Lyle.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. I think we're going to take a little break. It's 9:15. I think we should take about.
No, let's just keep going.
You're saying we should keep going.
Keep going.
Can't we have some sort of a democratic
This is a nice. This is a nice little tune, and it takes us back to this. This is an incredible tune in some ways, because here we have mountain people who are, they've got this sort of seesaw to it. There's very elaborate sort of things that you could do around the unconscious and all that kind of stuff. Okay.
Yes, we do.
We are on the sea of life, sailing to a better home, where the saved of all the earth shall abide. Leaving all our trials here, many pleasures and despair, when we cross the foam and reach the other side. We are sailing, sailing onward, sailing, sailing on the foam. We are talking to the captain as the angry billows roll. Soon we'll reach the harbor and be safely o'er the tide. We are going onward to the other side. Many millions now abide in that home beyond the tide, where the ransomed pilgrims wait free from care. There is room on board for all who will heed the captain's call and take ship for heaven's country bright and fair. We are sailing, sailing onward, sailing, sailing on the foam. We are talking to the captain as the angry billows roll. Soon we'll reach the harbor and be safely o'er the tide. We are going onward to the other side. We are sailing, sailing onward, sailing, sailing on the foam. We are talking to the captain as the angry billows roll. Soon we'll reach the harbor and be safely o'er the tide. We are going onward to the other side.
You're a good audience.
Thank you. Should we tell them that you're not going to talk?
I had a little speech prepared there on the theology and gospel music, but I'd rather do the singing now. It's a bit late, and let's just sing and have fun. Okay?
Hey, they're with you, James. They're with you. It was good, though. We'll use it a different time.
I'll just make one little comment, and that is, a Mennonite lady, after one of our concerts, came up to me after the concert and said, "Do you guys really believe the stuff you're singing?" And I said, "Yes, I do." And my talk was basically a justification for that comment. And if you want to know how I justify it, come and talk to me. I'm a theologian. I teach theology at Grebel College. And one thing I like about this music, I'll just say one more thing. One thing I like about this music is that there's an irony and a humor in which the composers and the authors and the singers have a certain distance from it, and there's a certain second naivete here, which I find incredibly appealing. There's a kind of a yearning for a lost spirituality here, which, in fact, I'm at least recovering as I get older.
Softly and tenderly Jesus is calling, calling for you and for me. See on the portal he's waiting and watching for you and for me. Come home, come home, come home, come home. You are weary, come home. Earnestly, tenderly, Jesus is calling, oh sinner, come home. Why should we tarry while Jesus is pleading for you and for me? Why should we linger and heed not his mercies for you and for me? Come home, come home, come home, come home. You are weary, come home. Jesus is calling, oh sinner, come home. Oh, for the wonderful love he has promised for you and for me. Though we have sinned, he has mercy and pardon for you and for me. Come home, come home, come home. You are weary, come home. Earnestly, tenderly, Jesus is calling, oh sinner, come home. Come home, come home, come home, come home. You are weary, come home. Earnestly, tenderly, Jesus is calling, oh sinner, come home.
We talked about teaching you how to sing, and we'd have a sing-along, and then we said no.
No events, no happenings,
there's a
no
longing
events.
for
Let's
me
go,
to-
let's sing, Johnson.
As I went down in the valley to pray, studying about that good old way, and who shall wear the robe and crown? Good Lord, show me the way. Oh, brothers, let's go down, don't you want to go down? Oh, brothers, let's go down in the valley to pray. As I went down in the valley to pray, studying about that good old way, and who shall wear the robe and the crown? Good Lord, show me the way. Oh, sisters, let's go down, don't you want to go down? Oh, sisters, let's go down in the valley to pray. As I went down in the valley to pray, studying about that good old way, and who shall wear the robe and the crown? Good Lord, show me the way. Oh, fathers, let's go down, don't you want to go down? Oh, fathers, let's go down in the valley to pray. As I went down in the valley to pray, studying about that good old way, and who shall wear the robe and crown? Good Lord, show me the way.
let's go down, let's go down, don't you wanna go down? Oh, mothers, let's go down, down in the valley to pray. As I went down in the valley to pray, studying about that good old way, and who shall wear the robe and the crown? Good Lord, show me the way.
Who wrote this one, Bob?
He got me on this one because I don't think it really has a writer.
Let's keep guessing. Let's keep guessing.
No, although it was done by Bill Monroe, but it's been done by a number of other musicians as well. I'm a working on a building. I'm a working on a building. I'm a working on a building for my Lord, for my Lord. If I was a sinner, I'll tell you what I would do. I would quit my sinning and I'd work on a building too. I'm a working on a building. I'm a working on a building. I'm a working on a building for my Lord, for my Lord. It's a Holy Ghost building. It's the Holy Ghost building. Hallelujah. It's a Holy Ghost building for my Lord, for my Lord. So excited about that chorus.
Want to do it again?
That's embarrassing. Very, very embarrassing.
The problem with doing it again is it might be worse.
Try it.
No, let's just move on. Sometimes you can't go back. It's better just to move on. Well, if I was a drinking man, I'll tell you what I would do. I would quit my drinking and I'd work on a building too. I'm a working on a building. I'm a working on a building. I'm a working on a building for my Lord, for my Lord. It's a Holy Ghost building. It's a Holy Ghost building. Hallelujah. It's a Holy Ghost building for my Lord, for my Lord. If I was a preacher man, I'll tell you what I would do. I would keep on preaching and I'd work on a building too. I'm a working on a building. I'm a working on a building. Hallelujah. I'm a working on a building for my Lord, for my Lord. It's a Holy Ghost building. It's a Holy Ghost building. It's a Holy Ghost building for my Lord, for my Lord.
It's the Holy Ghost building. It's the Holy Ghost building. It's the Holy Ghost building. For my Lord, for my Lord. One last chorus.
Okay, full chorus.
I'm a working on a building. I'm a working on a building. I'm a working on a building. For my Lord, for my Lord. It's the Holy Ghost building. It's the Holy Ghost building. Hallelujah. It's the Holy Ghost building. For my Lord, for my Lord. Thank you very much. We're pretty well overwhelmed. At least I am. I don't deserve it, and I really mean it.
Lies like a rug.
This music's a lot of fun, though, isn't it? It's a lot of fun.
Now we listen together.
Okay, now
somehow.
what do we
got
do here?
All right, good, together. Just trying to get our tempo.
I have left the land of heartache with its earthly treasure. I've journeyed to a place where there is love on every hand. I've exchanged the land of bondage for a land of pleasure, and I'm camping in Canaan's happy land. Every day I'm camping in the land of Canaan, and with a rapture I'll survey its wondrous beauty grand. Glory, hallelujah, I have found the land of promise, and I'm camping in Canaan's happy land. Yeah, but Jesus, I have traveled through the darkness dreary, far over the hills and the valleys and across the desert sands. But I'm landed safely home where I shall not grow weary, and I'm camping in Canaan's happy land. Every day I'm camping in the land of Canaan, and with the rapture I'll survey its wondrous beauty grand. Lord, hallelujah, I have found the land of promise, and I'm camping in Canaan's happy land. Yes, the priest land of promise with its scenes of glory. My journey ended in a place so lovely and so grand. I've been led by Jesus to this blessed land of story, and I'm camping in Canaan's happy land. Every day I'm camping in the land of Canaan, and with the rapture I'll survey its wondrous beauty grand. Lord, hallelujah, I have found the land of promise, and I'm camping in Canaan's happy land.
Thanks very much, folks. Thank you. You're great people to sing to.
What an extraordinary evening. Thank you very much. I have attended classes in this room. I have taught classes in this room, I should say. I've attended conferences. I've attended symposia, socials, and I can truly say I have not heard the sounds that I've heard tonight ever in this room. Not just the distinct theology to which we were exposed, not the incredible harmonies and the incredible mandolin playing, the guitar, which you have to admit most of the time did follow the music. Not to mention the applause, the hoots, the whistles. I can say I haven't heard those, and I teach in this room. And I've never been called back for an encore. My heart goes out to Jim Reimer tonight. It's certainly a real blow for a professor to get applause and warm applause after he announces that he will not give a lecture. I saw some strange things in this room as well that I've never seen here before. I saw hands clapping, toes tapping. I hope the audience didn't throw the singers off too much with their sometimes out of joint clapping and their attempts to keep up with you. I mean, after all, we're Catholics. What do we know about rhythm? Why do you think there's so many of us? Maybe. I can see Dean Higgins here writing out my pink slip. He is efficient. A cruel man, but fair. Just a couple of housekeeping matters. One, to remind you that there is a sign-up sheet if you wish to be notified of the CD that will be coming out under the title, "Most of These Mistakes Will Be Ironed Out." As well, there is a tape of this extraordinary evening available for cost. You see Carol Person in the back there. Also, if you wish to be added to the mailing list of the St. Jerome's Center for Catholic Experience, each year we will send you our brochure and notify you of our events. Finally, I would like to thank you all for coming, for making this evening such an exciting one. Thank you very much. Good night.